It all starts with a simple truth. You can't beat the basics. Endurance calisthenics is a clear example. Here, the main goal is increasing reps, but chances are you'll build an impressive physique. It's no coincidence, it's a byproduct of the training style. And what makes it so effective isn't complicated. First, focus only on foundational exercises. Pull-ups, dips, push-ups, rows, and at the advanced level muscle-ups. Second, take these exercises and push them to the absolute limit. As many reps as possible and even going beyond failure through dedicated methods I'll show you later. The result is a minimalistic but brutal way of training. One that challenges both your body and your mind. And while it may sound tough, the benefits you won't find anywhere else. Maybe the most obvious one is watching your max reps go up. But as your endurance improves, you'll be able to get more quality work in, more time under tension, and ultimately better progress, also for building muscle. Actually, recent studies suggest that the gains of doing high reps are directly comparable to doing 8 to 12 reps. And that explains why these athletes are so insanely muscular. But there is a condition. This is only the case if the sets are taken to complete failure. Essentially, if you're doing it right, endurance calisthenics is high intensity training. And this has a few consequences for your programming. Since the goal is muscle failure only through body weight, your sets will become long and demanding. They do become incredibly effective, but they also build up a ton of fatigue. So if you want to recover between sessions, you actually need fewer sets overall. Of course, over time you'll be able to recover from more work, but the golden rule stays the same. That if you want the benefits of extreme failure training, it's realized through shorter workouts or through more rest time in between. And we know this works because we've seen it used for years only in bodybuilding. It was introduced in the 70s as a few quick sessions weekly with everything to extreme failure, typically only one set per exercise. Later, Dorian Yates added more structure and typically did 2 sets per exercise. Even right now, a variation of this is popular in calisthenics with Beatz 2-set method. And the truth is, it works. It's very effective for building both strength and mass. We've seen it be superior many times. But as with almost anything, there's also a trade-off. Here it's something that's become noticeable with weightlifting and may be relevant for calisthenics as well. Basically, injuries are more common with this training style because the body is pushed to the limit, especially when compared to more frequent workouts with less intensity and with reps in reserve. At least that's what the history shows. But what does this mean for high rep calisthenics then? Well, the reason I want to highlight this is actually very positive, because endurance calisthenics, while being high intensity, doesn't really have the same downsides we see with weightlifting. These exercises are based entirely on body weight, and this means the only way of increasing intensity is through adding more reps, not through adding weight. Over time, this means we typically end up in very high rep ranges. And this is clever, because reaching high intensity in high rep ranges distributes the stress by reducing the impact of each individual repetition. And this is especially true with calisthenics, because the body naturally is designed to handle its own weight. So you have much more time to listen to your body, adjust and react before it's too late. It allows you to reap the insane benefits while keeping the risk to a minimum. And that's why I consider it a cheat code. So that's the argument, but how do you actually train and progress? Well, there are different ways to approach it, but I'll quickly explain the 4 most basic strategies. These are more fun and engaging ways to train, but the most important thing is training close to failure. So if you prefer to keep it simple by just doing a few sets of pull-ups, dips and push-ups, that's totally fine. Combining them into a single superset is also fine, as long as you're consistently pushing yourself. But let's get into the methods. First up, we have so-called one-shot sets, which for me is a personal favorite. It means in one go without resting. So for pull-ups, no rest in the bottom, and for dips, no rest in the top. As soon as your elbows are locked out, you immediately continue into the next rep. And when you can't continue because you need to rest, you stop. This is a really good method if you're first getting started. It's pretty fast-paced, but still allows you to gradually adjust to the intensity since it leaves a few reps in reserve. On the other hand, if you already have good endurance, they work even better as supersets. For example, going from dips to push-ups to incline push-ups and even finishing with knee push-ups. All of them one shot before moving on. Next up, we have pyramid and ladder sets. In pyramid sets, you start from 0 and add a repetition each set until you fail. When you do, you work your way down again by removing a rep each time. In ladder sets, you do the same thing, except when you fail your first set, you stop. As a guideline, pyramid sets are great for quality volume and increasing raw endurance, while ladder sets are better suited for explosive endurance, being explosive for longer. If you want an example of how I'm using the ladder set myself, you can check out my video on explosive pull-ups, linked in the description. Next is EMOM sets, maybe the most popular format in endurance. Here you complete a fixed number of reps every minute for as long as possible. And finding a good rep target takes a few attempts, but as a starting point you can take your max in any exercise and divide it by 3. So if your max is 16 dips, you would perform 6 reps every minute, since we're always rounding up. If you complete the reps within 15 seconds, then you rest for the remaining 45 seconds until the next minute begins. And when you can't complete the reps within the minute, you stop. If you think this sounds fun, I've made a video about increasing pull-ups where I explain it in a little more detail, also linked in the description. Lastly, we have supersets for time. This is inspired by the competitive format where workouts are completed as fast as possible, with the fastest time being the winner. Here there are endless possibilities, and it's definitely an advantage to have some experience. But if you want something simple to start with, you could take all your maxes, double them and create one big superset. That's pretty fun in my opinion. I generally think it's motivating to practice the same superset over a period while trying to beat your own times. Overall, these 4 methods are great, but they don't have to make up your entire workout. Another beautiful thing about endurance is how well it combines with other goals. For example, starting with skill training and then continuing into endurance sets. That's also why the program I'm currently working on is a skills and endurance program. And it's possible because the goal with endurance is better force production under fatigue, which means it's perfect for the latter half of your workouts. Of course, if you want an occasional max test and the motivation of seeing your numbers go up to the full potential, you'll have to begin with maxing out. Before ending the video, I'll be quick to mention that if you're looking for some new calisthenics equipment, my sponsors at GoNation have some very high quality options. You can use my code Jacob10 for 10% off. I put the link in the description. That was it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new, and I will see you in the next one.